What's up, friends? Welcome to SPDM TV. My name is Mike, part of the SPDM crew, and I watch a lot of TV. We talk about various TV topics, reviews, and general appreciation of TV past and new. You could follow me on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and Serialized at MLHilty2452 to see what all I'm watching. This week, I want to talk about Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal is the show on Peacock, of all places, and it is pretty much it's based on the video game, the PlayStation video game. An outsider must deliver this is the premise of the show, even though this is the premise of season one, but an outsider must deliver a mysterious package across a post-apocalyptic wasteland in exchange for a better life. But Twisted Metal, it stars Anthony Mackie as John Doe, Stephanie Beatrice as Quiet. We've got Anthony Kerrigan as Calypso, who is in charge of the Twisted Metal tournament. Mike Mitchell as Stu. Taj Vaughn as Mike. Let's see, this season, we've also got Patty Guggenheim as Raven. Tiana Oki as Dollface. Michael James Shaw as Axel. And then playing Sweet Tooth is Will Arnett as the voice of Sweet Tooth, and Joe Sanoa as the actual body performance of Sweet Tooth. So, season one was an enormous surprise for me regarding Twisted Metal because I played the game as growing up, and I was like, how on earth can you make an actual story out of this? Because the whole premise of the movie is that you're in a car and you're blowing stuff up. That's really about it. So the fact that season one, they did a really good job of trying to talk about this whole idea of the insiders and the outsiders. So that has a lot to say about class, and it has a lot to say about the relationships you build and how the relationship that you have with a car can be pretty strong at times. I didn't realize that in season one, I was going to cry over Anthony Mackie, who gets devastating information, or like something devastating happens to his car. And then you see the backstory a little bit, but you also combine that with, My Immortal by Evanescence. And yeah, you're going to be pretty sad about it. So there was a lot that I really liked about the first Twisted Metal, or the first season of Twisted Metal. And I was like, there's no way that this movie is going to be as good as, there's no way that this TV show is going to compare season two with making, with season two being, on par with season one. So the big thing that changes from season one to season two is that we're actually in the tournament. And this is where things get a little dicey with it because the whole premise of the tournament is that, hey, survive Twisted Metal and you can have one wish granted, any wish that you want. And the whole thing with this, it has a lot to say about what you're willing to do in order to get something that you think that there's a shortcut in order to get. And that to me is a fantastic theme to try and parse out a little bit. The other thing too is that the glorification of violence as a means of entertainment. This does feel a little Hunger Games at times with, and Calypso is the guy that's in charge of this grand tournament. And there was something about his performance that I was like, there's something fishy going on with this tournament. That also doesn't change the fact that it does still have some things to say about the insiders and the outsiders that's definitely more pronounced at the end of the season. But I think that if they would have continued to hammer that point home a little bit, because in the beginning parts of this season, it's still very much present. At the end, it's very much present. In the middle, not so much. And I think that to me was a little disappointing because I think now more than ever, this whole concept of the insiders and the outsiders, and this concept of the haves and the have-nots should still definitely be something that is addressed and that is talked about and taken care of. So I was a little disappointed that they didn't continue to hammer that home. However, one thing that they did so incredibly well with this is that the action sequences are really great, and the racing in particular is really strong. One of my, admittedly, like I'll fully admit, one of my favorite moments of this entire year so far, in terms of one of my favorite moments in all of television this year, was season two, episode five. It's called On Your Mark, and it is the quote qualifying round. And it is a simple race from here's you get like a package, and then you just drive it to the other side, and then you're good to go. Survive the qualifying round and you're good. And I was just giddy the whole time watching this opening sequence, because there was something that was just so pure about this is exactly how it is in the video game. So I was really excited about that. So for them to, have some nuance with a lot of these characters, and kind of just building the relationships from people. And once you discover what some people's wishes are, you see that some wishes are pretty unrealistic. Like, hey, I want to bring someone back to life, or I want, the haves and the have-nots to, kind of be on equal footing. But some feel like they are a little bit more realistic about, like, hey, I just want to find somewhere where I belong. It was fascinating to kind of hear what some of these people's wishes are, but then also there's the whole thing about, wait, am I going to get the wish that I want exactly, or are there going to be strings attached? And that's something that kind of gets addressed a little bit, and something that's very much of a big concern. I think Twisted Metal does prove that Anthony Mackie can anchor a show, even though he isn't like straight up like the main focus of this. I think there was something about Calypso, Anthony Kerrigan's character, that kind of stole a little bit of the focus a little bit, which is good. But Anthony Mackie still knows how to lead a show, and that's really great. I think Stephanie Beatrice was really great, and we saw a lot of evolution from her character in season one versus season two. So I think in particular her relationship with John was definitely well pronounced. Her relationship with Dollface, and then a new character called Mayhem, played by Sailor Bell Curda, was really great as well. Sweet Tooth is as menacing as always, and Sweet Tooth does provide a lot of just fun moments, and just funny imagery. And he's definitely a lot of comic relief. This show is really funny as well. I do give the show a lot of credit. And also, if you're a fan of the video game, you're definitely going to enjoy this a lot, because there's a lot to just love about it. So then, at its very core, just the whole sequences of getting to know some of these drivers, and just learning a little bit more about what all they're doing in this tournament is really great. I liked Axel a lot. I liked Mayhem. I even liked Mike and Stu as well. I thought that they were both great characters. Yes, does it go over the top? Absolutely, it goes over the top. And there's a couple characters that from the last season that I was missing a little bit in this season. However, I still really like this season, and it definitely is going up there in terms of some of my favorites, favorite character or favorite shows of this year. And I'm a little shocked at that, because I did not think that season two of this show could have, topped a little bit what they did in season one, but they did. They amped up a lot of the action in this, so which I appreciate. And for them to actually make something out of this story for two seasons, and it to be good, when you have plenty of other examples like the Halo TV series, I thought was just dog water. And I'm cautiously optimistic that like Fallout is gonna produce like a really great season two as well. And I think a lot of places are starting to realize that putting a video game into TV form is probably a better idea than to putting it in a movie form. And now we've got proof of concept in a lot of ways, because you've got The Last of Us, you've got Fallout, you've got you've got this as prime examples of, if you give a story enough time to be fleshed out, as opposed to only like 2 hours, you give it like 7 or 8 hours, it could just lead to a lot of really great things. So I think we definitely are in a golden age of video games on television adaptations. So I hope that they continue to do that. This is definitely a recommend for me, definitely one that's worth checking out. And I know I'm not going to get a whole lot of people who would want to watch this. So here I am just recommending it and just praying that more people watch it because I'm not sure if it's getting the viewership that it needs in order to secure season three. So we shall see if Peacock somehow, for some strange reason, lets it go. Netflix, pick it up. You've got the cash for it, and you've got a lot of shows ending. So please just pick it up. Come on. Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode of SPDM TV. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe to anything and everything SPDM Crew wherever you get your podcast. Join us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Blue Sky at SPDM Crew. Check out our website at SPDM Crew. Shout out to HiFlyer Creative Studios for making our awesome logo. Greatly appreciate their support. And if you have any marketing, logo, or brand standard needs, contact them at HiFlyerCreative.com. Check out the other shows on our network. We've got a lot of other great shows that are worth checking out. Really proud of the work that everyone is doing. So please check out the other shows on the network. And finally, if you've got a podcast idea or you're interested in being part of the SPDM crew as a guest or collaborating, email us at gmail.com. Until next time, happy watching, friends.